Barack Obama on this podcast was discussing reparations for slavery, a radical and sort of ridiculous proposal by the vantage of 2021. Obama says that the reason we never got reparations, the politics of white resistance.
What I saw during my presidency was that the politics of white resistance and resentment, the talk of welfare queens and the talk of the undeserving poor and the backlash against affirmative action, all that made the prospect of actually proposing any kind of coherent, meaningful reparations program struck me as politically not only a non-starter, but potentially counterproductive.
Because of those white people with their resistance and their resentment, we couldn't get reparations. Now, first of all, I love, too, that he lumps affirmative action in there, as though it's somehow unnatural to resent having a disadvantage when you're applying to college or a job. You know, yes, it's the politics of Asian resentment, that they don't accept affirmative action at Harvard and Yale, that they don't accept being disadvantaged by the admissions committee because of all their very white Asian privilege, or Asian white privilege. I don't know. I'm very confused. But he's also just wrong on the facts here. Black people do not support affirmative action, or do not support reparations overwhelmingly either. So according to a Reuters Ipsos poll from 2020, 1 in 5 Americans generally said that we should use taxpayer money to pay damages to descendants of enslaved people in America. 1 in 5 people believe this. 80% of Republicans oppose reparations. 2/3 of Democrats are not supportive of reparations. 10% of whites are supportive of reparations. Only half of black people are supportive of reparations. This is a very radical view and a proposal that is supported by a very small number of Americans. And it doesn't break down cleanly on racial lines. If what Barack Obama is saying is true, then you'd say basically no white people support reparations, which is essentially true. But all the black people support reparations. That's not true. Only half of black people support reparations. And the overwhelming majority of Americans oppose it because it's an incoherent policy. He says, in order for us to have a coherent policy, we would need all this white support. There is no coherent policy. Slavery was abolished 150 years ago. You already, even at the time of emancipation, you would have had a little bit of trouble with reparations, but at least you could have, 40 acres and a mule, you could have done it. But now, generation after generation after generation, many people descended from slaves. Many of those same people descended from white people. We've mentioned on this show before, the first officially declared slave owner in the American tradition was a black Angolan guy named Anthony Johnson. That's kind of weird. Do his descendants get reparations? Do recent immigrants from Africa get reparations? It would be very difficult. How do you prove that sort of thing? But the real distinction here is not a racial one, it's a radical one. People who share Barack Obama's radical politics and people who do not. If you enjoyed that break from disinformation, historical revision, and screaming about the end of the world, be sure to hit the subscribe button so that you never miss another video.